Good morning, family. It is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. And this morning we're looking at Proverbs chapter 3. My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, so you will find favor and good repute in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your body and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord from your wealth and from the first of all your produce. So your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow with new wine. My son, do not reject the discipline of the Lord or loathe his reproof. For whom the Lord loves he reproves, even as a father corrects the son in whom he delights. How blessed is the man who finds wisdom, and the man who gains understanding. For her profit is better than the profit of silver, and her gain better than fine gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire compares with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all who hold her fast. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge the deeps were broken up, and the skies drip with dew. My son, let them not vanish from your sight. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so they will be life to your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk Then you will walk in your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden fear, nor of the onslaught of the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence, and will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it. Do not say to your neighbor, "Go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it," when you have it with you. Do not devise harm against your neighbor while he lives securely beside you. Do not contend with a man without cause, if he has done you no harm. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways. For the devious are an abomination to the Lord, but he is intimate with the upright. The curse of the Lord is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Though he scoffs at the scoffers, yet he gives grace to the afflicted. The wise will inherit honor, but fools display dishonor. This is the word of the Lord. This morning, what I want to focus on are two verses here towards the end of Proverbs 3, verses 27 and 28. It says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it. Do not say to your neighbor, 'Go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it,' when you have it with you." What we have here is a command for us in regards to loving our neighbor as ourselves, of not withholding something good from someone that deserves it, a command to share, to be a cheerful giver, to help those in need, so much as it depends upon us, so much as it's within our power to do so. It's referring to, it makes mention a couple times of withholding good. Go and come back tomorrow, I'll give it. And so it's the idea that we're going to delay help to someone. And I was thinking about this morning, and I was trying to figure out what would be some circumstances in which someone might reason that they're going to wait to help another person. Like what would be some reasons why we would want to wait to help someone? If someone, for instance, from our church came and, they sent me a text, said, hey Aaron, I lost my job. My family doesn't have any food. Could you help me? If I had a refrigerator full of food and a cabinets full of food, and I told them, well, I'm not going to do it right now, but tomorrow, if you come over, I'll give you something to eat. What would motivate someone to do something like that? It got me to thinking about the book of James, and where did it go? There's a part of James where it talks about a person coming and let's see. Yes, here, James chapter 2. It says, what use is it, my brethren, if someone says he has faith, but he has no works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is without food, clothing, and in need of daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, be warmed and be filled, and yet do not give them what is necessary for their body, what use is that? And I believe that's speaking in regards to the same thing. It's like we've been blessed with a gift. We've been blessed with food and clothing and shelter. We've been given good things by God, and we're called to be cheerful givers. We know that it's better to give than to receive. We're called to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. I think that passage where Jesus is talking about, I was hungry, I was sick, I was naked, I was in prison, and you gave me all those things. And then on the flip side of it, there was people that saw him in that state and didn't give him those things. And he's referring to the brethren, how we're to love our brothers and sisters in Christ. And yet the proverb and James here is talking about people that would withhold that from someone. So the question is, why would we do that? Why would we withhold? Why would we withhold help from someone that needs it, to whom it's due, especially one of our brothers? And so I can only think of a couple reasons why we might do that. Number one, maybe we're selfish. Maybe we're holding on to our goods and they're precious to us, and we don't want to let them go. Maybe they're idols for us, and so we're simply not going to share those things. Maybe we're lazy. Maybe you've had a long day at work, or you've had a long day of school, and your neighbor calls up, "Hey, can you help me take out the trash?" And you're like, I'll do it in the morning. You know, whatever's being asked of us in regards to there's a person in need, and we have the ability to help them, and we don't, or we put it off till tomorrow. What's the reason that might happen? Well, I think, I think it could be selfishness. Maybe it's an idol for us and we just don't want to let it go. Maybe we're afraid of the future for ourselves. Well, what if I share this food with them and then tomorrow I'm in the same position? I think there's many reasons why this takes place, and we're told here that we're to not do that. We're instead to trust the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. And so an element of all this, I believe, is the idea that whatever we have, whether it's our time or our gifts or our talents or just the material blessings we've been given and we enjoy, we need to be willing to sacrifice those for God's glory, to be a help to others. And that's what Romans 12 talks about. It says, "Therefore I urge you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship." And so we're to be living sacrifices. We're to give up our bodies even to love our neighbors as ourselves and to seek to glorify God. And so if your neighbor comes to you and has need of food or clothing, or we ought to help. We ought to, we ought to love that person. Now, in the context of what I'm talking about this morning, I'm speaking specifically of what James and the Proverbs is talking about. And even what Jesus was referring to when he talked about being naked and hungry and in prison and sick. He's talking about the brethren. He's talking about our brothers and sisters in Christ. Now, sometimes this can get a little confusing because we drive down the street and we see a homeless person standing on the street corner, or we'll have a homeless person at a gas station come up and ask for something. Now, there's some people that have a hard and fast rule that they're not going to share with anybody in that context, that there's too much of a risk of them just simply turning around and using the money or whatever for drugs or for alcohol or or something like that. And I think there might be a little merit to that. I mean, you don't want to enable someone to do that through your giving. But I think if someone is, and so oftentimes when you see panhandlers, when you see folks standing on street corners, a lot of times they're asking for money. And I don't see here that it's saying that we just got to hand people over money. But if someone comes and they're like, "Look, I'm hungry," and you have the means to help feed them, if they're willing to receive some food, I see no harm in helping a person that way. I know a lot of times homeless folks, on a couple of occasions, I've observed when you give the offer of food, they don't want it. They want the money for something else. And so you have to use some wisdom. You have to use some discernment. If there's, and so I want us to think about this mainly in the context of our brothers and sisters in Christ. We know them, right? We go to church with them. We fellowship with them. We worship with them. We have them in our home. We know a little bit about what's going on in their lives. So if one of our brothers and sisters is coming to us saying, "Man, my family's going hungry," we're going to know that, and we should not withhold good from them when they're asking like that. We need to help them. And this speaks also to missions, foreign missions, organizations that are supporting missionaries and Christians in persecuted countries. There's Christians the world over in many places who are starving, who are going hungry, and it would be a good thing to be able to support them and help them in any way possible. But again, that takes some discernment, because there are organizations out there that basically exist to play upon your kindness and your goodness, and the money and the funds and the food and the clothing never get to where it's supposed to go. So you got to use some discernment. You don't want to be naive and unwise with the goods and resources God has given you. So being a living sacrifice, being willing to part with this world's goods, loving your neighbor as yourself, feeding and clothing and helping your brother and sister in Christ, so much as it's dependent upon, so much as you're able. You can't give more than you have, right? You can't, helping others, sacrificing what you have. We want to use wisdom about it. It wouldn't make sense for me, for instance, if a brother or sister came and said, "Listen, my house just burned down," it would not make sense for me to just say, "Okay, well, my family, we're going to move out and just live out on the street, and you can have my home." That wouldn't make sense, because now my family's the one that's homeless. And so now, do you see what I'm saying? You've got to use some discernment. It's like, how best can I use the resources I have to help you? What's the best way and the most effective way I can be helpful to you? But we don't put it off. That's the point of the proverb this morning. We don't put it off. Okay? And some would say, well, what about what if they cheat me out of my stuff? What if they really don't need it? What if they're just looking to hoard and be greedy and selfish with it? Well, if you're in Romans 12, if you look over here at the end of Romans 12, it says, "But if your enemy is hungry, feed him, and if he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in doing so, you will heap burning coals on his head." There is a possibility that when you help people, even brothers and sisters that claim to be Christians, that they're going to be greedy with it. They're going to be selfish. That they're going to use it for things other than what they said. And if someone's going to take advantage of you, that's to their own condemnation, if you're loving them the way Christ commands us to love. So don't fear that. I would say don't fear that. All right. I love you all. I pray you have a blessed day today. And I just would encourage you to seek ways which you might be living sacrifices today, in which you might be able to be helpful and to one another and love one another, and do it today. You might not have tomorrow. That's another aspect of this. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. If you're able to help someone today, then do it, because you might not be here tomorrow. And the help you're able to provide someone today What if they're not here tomorrow? What if that help could have made all the difference? So I love you all. Have a blessed day today.